Hey everybody. All right. Let's hear a little bit of this guy. The lovely Korg DW8000. Oh man, I gotta admit, it's kind of a bittersweet stream. It's not going just yet, but unfortunately, I have to sell the scale. Oh, anyway, eventually, not quite yet, but big move coming. Gotta let go of some things. Anyway, Korg DW8000, wonderful synth, born only a few years after myself. I believe it was 1984. It is a 8-voice monster of a synth, hybrid architecture, which is awesome, is honestly sought after in many ways today. My Novation Summit's a hybrid, pretty much in the same vein. I've heard this referred to as the old Summit, or maybe the Summit's the new DW. Anyway, 16 sampled waveforms. They do range from pretty standard to okay. Like, I can't remember them all. They actually didn't put the names on them, which is funny, but they're supposed to be like oboe, and I don't remember honestly. But some of them, they're okay. Some of them are really good. But honestly, after kind of messing about with them, mixing two together, messing with some of the options on this with the filters, analog filters, by the way, you get some amazing tones. You do only get one LFO, but I have learned in my many years that you don't necessarily need 4, 5, or 3 LFOs to get a fantastic sound. I mean, most synthesizers that are as old as me or older, often we're lucky to have one LFO. So I won't complain about that, because honestly, I was able to squeeze out some sounds that I'm really, really happy with. That one I just played at the beginning was a really cool sound that I was very excited to have. There's this other one on here that I'm so excited to record a song with, but I haven't gotten to that yet. So anyway, we're going to go through and create some patches. I just did want to mention 2 more things. It does have a really good digital delay from old school. You can use it to kind of create a few different effects, a little bit of phasing, maybe some chorus, even some mock reverb to an extent. It's really cool, and that was a really cool feature they added. From my understanding, kind of rare at the time. Velocity sensitivity, which is fantastic. It has that both the VCF, the filter, and the amplifier, so you do get that option as well. And I do believe we can use that for a modulation source. No, I don't think we can, but it does soften things, which is nice and kind of makes it a little bit more playable. Our modulations are pretty simple, but still pretty awesome. They did include a delay on the LFO. Yay, but they didn't include a fade. So it's basically no LFO to LFO. So it does come in handy in some cases, but personally, I really, really, really love when they have both a delay and a fade. Like, you can kind of fade it in. So you can maybe even get that natural vibrato, as you might hear on a violin player, would kind of play a note and then start a little vibrato at the end. You're not going to get that. You're going to get instant vibrato, or whatever you choose to set it to. And so that is pretty much it. It's a very relatively simple synthesizer. I'm sure it was very complex when it came out, but in today's modern formats, we get some pretty wild stuff. So this is fairly simple in my opinion. You do get a couple things over here that honestly I never use. You do have different poly versions here. The idea is that if I play the same key with poly 1, it'll go through the voices. The poly 2 will remain, so if I play C over and over, it's going to stick to that one same voice. That because we do have some analog filters, and it's also kind of an old machine, I'm sure there was some of this in the get-go too, you do get a slightly different character by allowing it to go through the voices versus using the same one every time. It's very subtle, almost borderline unnoticeable, in my opinion, but it does have its uses for other things too. But I generally stick in poly 1. Unison is there. I'm not crazy about unison. And this one in particular, you don't get a lot of settings. You know, you're not getting you don't get to spread it out. You don't get to really decide much on it. I'm pretty sure, if I remember right, you just get all or none. So, yeah, not really my thing. You do get an arpeggiator, but it's a very simple arpeggiator, so I don't really use that much. You do have a tune button. God help you if you bumped into that while playing on stage live in an unwell lit place. So I believe I might want to, if I was going to keep this thing, I'd probably pluck that knob off again, which I did have it like that at some point, but I found it and want to put it on there just in case I was going to sell it soon. And then, of course, the volume. All the parameters are here. We do have a relatively simple display up here, with this mainly being our banks as well as our banks for parameters, but banks for user patches. You do have to switch between parameter and program. It can trip you up sometimes where you might be programming something and you go to do something and you switch the patch. Ooh, that's a bummer because you lose it. Other way around, it's not as bad because you can just switch patch again. But you do have this up and down values here, and then you also have this fader that both they affect whatever parameter you're sitting on. I will mention one last thing. Okay, promise, last thing. Bank hold. This is a really cool idea. I don't have a lot of synthesizers that are this simplistic in the user interface, so maybe this was common, I'm not sure. But bank hold's nice because instead of having to type in every single parameter that you're going for, if you know you're going to hang out and say the filter section in program for a second, you hold bank hold. Well, here, let's start. It's a 4. So if we go 4, parameter, there we go, 4 bank hold, you can see that little dot there. This is now indicating that all I have to do is push these buttons to go through the different parameters. So when you're building patches quickly, that is very handy, actually. Once I realized that was there, I was like, oh, okay, that eases a little bit. And I will say these are old buttons. You're going to find a lot of these out there that the buttons are very poorly at best, very poor working at best, or at least in average, unless someone takes care of it. I actually took this part and cleaned it extremely well. I actually bought all brand new buttons and had all these ideas, but I opened it up and cleaned it out really good, and everything works perfect. So I have a whole sack of things that I can use to replace it down the road, or whoever the lucky person who gets to own this after me. Oh, God, I really don't want to sell it, but what are you going to do? All right, let's get into it. All right, I got some empty patches up here. Let's check. Yeah, let me go to 84. You can hear that, I'm sure you're hearing it because I'm hearing it. The keyboard is excessively noisy. Oh, I think I have. Yeah, okay. I did initialize this when I got it because somebody else had put a ton of patches in there, and they were great, but I like to make my own patches. And when I did that, I didn't think older keyboard, it just zeroed everything out and it made no sound. Like, for example, this is what it sounded like. Nothing, just the keypad. So you have to go in there and figure out what was everything's turned down. So you basically have to turn everything up to get it to a point where it's actually making some sound. So I went ahead and saved what I would consider an initialized patch. And that's how I start every program. Just tip if you want to do that. It does have old school MIDI, so I'm not sure. No, I'm pretty positive I don't think you can bounce these out through Sysix on the MIDI channel. I think what it does have instead is tape. If you don't know this, I'm a fairly old guy, and this was kind of impressive to me. I didn't get into synthesizers till I was probably in my 30s, so I missed a lot of this. But you recorded your presets to a tape cassette. And if you're so young you don't know what a tape cassette is, then I got nothing for you. But if you do know what a tape is, basically a tape, like you would have a Walkman cassette. You'd pop it into that and you would record, or you would play it back in through the input from tape section, and that's how you would send and receive your presets. Supposedly, you can record this back into modern systems as well. So if I plug this into my interface, record it, and I should be able to preserve that and then, you know, play that recording back and save it. I just never have, because I basically have been going through and filling the patches over time and just being really happy with the sounds. So, yeah, that's one downfall. I do believe, well, I don't know, but there is a cool hacking scene for this guy out there as well, and there are lots of fun little things you can add to it. Supposedly somebody's working on an updated firmware, I believe, to add another LFO waveform, perhaps a sample and hold it might have been. I read it like a year ago and I haven't heard anything since. So, and there's also some guys doing some wild hacks where they either replace all of the waveforms, or I think they can somehow add additional waveforms through like some sort of device they're hardwiring on here, but I don't recall. But people have doing a lot of strange things. I don't generally mod synthesizers, except when they really, really need it. I really like how this sounds. You know, if I got one of my dream synths, and I hope to get one day, is a Roland, what is it? The, oh geez, I'm blanking on the JX10. It's basically two of the, oh God, I can't think of the other ones. The J6? No, not J6. I forget what it is, but it's two of those synthesizers packed into one. It's a big monster. It's like the last true full analog that Roland made in the 90s. Very expensive at the time, very huge and large. Anyways, awesome synthesizer, but there are some really cool modifications that actually add pulse width as well as better envelopes. So those kind of things, yeah, maybe. Anyway, I digress. Let's get back into this guy. So, you can, like I said, you can hear the keyboard's really noisy. I'm sorry about that. You know, I'm going to talk too, so unfortunately you're going to hear the keys a little bit. I'll try and play them a little bit quieter instead of, because they are pretty noisy. It's kind of a crappy key bed, I'm not going to lie. But it's really playable. I mean, I think. Yeah, it's decently playable. Yeah. Anyway, okay. So let's start by getting over to our octave and picking up our first waveform. So again, make sure parameter. We are going to hang out in this one for a second. So I'm not going to do bank mode, but I hit 22. That now tells me octave waveform right here. You can see. Now we select 1 through 16. Let's just hear them. Let's hear what we got. So we'll start here. Here, I'll come up a little bit. I think I'm way low. Do I have octave? No, I don't have an octave on this. Yeah, okay, well. So that's just a good old saw. That didn't sound any different. Why is that not sounding different? I'm already stuck. Oh, I'm on oscillator 2. I'm sorry. Let's try 1, 2. There we go. There we go. Now we're getting some difference. Doesn't look like a square wave, but you can kind of tell it almost has a little bit of that square wave shape. It's getting modulated extra by something. That might even be the oboe. Actually, I like that for a squarish sound. This is much more of like kind of a ring modish sawtooth. Almost kind of organy. All right, number 4. Again, close to a saw. Much more nasally, though. It's probably a saw and a triangle mixed together, if I had to guess. Number 5. That's got to be an organ. Why did that sound? Ooh. That would be a hard one for me to use. Number 6. Gotta be a clav. Yeah, it's clav. Alright, 6. Now we're into 7. Very similar. Another organ, for sure. Okay. farty farty sawtooth. It's not bad though. I think I could use something. I'm sure that's trying to mimic some sort of horn or something. Very buzzy. It's pretty complex. I like that one. It's hard to pin down exactly what it sounds like. Nah, kind of electro piano-ish. I don't know. I wasn't crazy about that one either. That's all right. That's all right. We're on 12. Pretty similar, maybe with an extra bit of frequency modulation. Yeah. Kind of the same waveform. They just added a little bit more of a nasally to it. 13 looks like it's a smoothed out version of those. Definitely. That's nice. I like the two tones coming in there. You know, got a little bit of low and high mixing together, and the high is a little bit muted, so it's not too harsh. And 14, we are now in kind of that same territory. That doesn't sound much different than a few others we heard. So that's kind of where I'm getting a little, feeling like it's a little redundant in some of the waveforms. Not too bad, obviously, but. And some sort of bell. Ooh, that would be hard to use, maybe for some percussion. All right, 16, glorious, simple sine wave. That's supposed to be a sine wave, but I feel like there's a little more going on in that. I wish I had an oscillator, oscilloscope set up to really see what that's making, because there's a bit of frequency up on that higher end, but I would suspect not in a traditional sine, but we'll take it. All right, let's go back to number 1. We can just go ahead and type it in. 1. Nope. Guess I gotta go. Oh, I was in parameters. That's why. 1, 2. Guess I have to use this. Yeah, there we go. Cool. All right, let's bring in our second waveform, because I want to start off by making a patch. I've started off by making a pad. That's usually for me kind of my first go-to, because I feel like you can just do a lot of motion and feeling in a pad, and it's kind of a good way to start testing some sounds out on a synth. All right, so now we're actually going to use 22. I'm going to go into bank hold, because I'm going to also use the detune, the level, possibly the interval, although that's a little wonky, and we'll talk about that in a second, but I don't generally use that, because it's basically shifting the second oscillator. Maybe if you're going to do a fifth, that can work for some stuff. I would probably bring the volume down so it's not super intense and making as you try to play it, keeping fifths the whole time. I don't generally use this one, but we'll give it a shot. All right, 21. Let's start with 22, which we're at, and we're going to add the second waveform. I need to get the level up first. There we go. I'm just going to bring it all the way up first so we can hopefully hear it pretty well. Good way to make your organ sounds a bit more aggressive. I am going to go back to 1. Oops. And I'm actually going to change that up to 9 as well. Was that what was that? Yeah. I really like the way that sounds. It's a little... Might make a better lead than a pad, but we're going to go with it. Now I'm going to go back to 2, bank hold, and we are going to bring the level down just a little bit. Not much, because we're going to come over to detune. Let's hear it all the way. just to be clear here too, we don't get super great resolution on these parameters. I mean, you can see right here 0, 6. So you have 7 resolution, which most of us are probably used to at least 128 for standard MIDI. So keep that in mind. Even the filter, I think, only is a quarter resolution than what you would get, because it's about 32 steps instead of the whole 128. So you don't get a whole lot of variance. As you increase, you're going to hear bigger and more drastic effect. Oops. Let's do 3. And maybe we'll bounce this octave up just a little bit. So I did 2 actually, so we're 2 octaves higher. Okay. I'm gonna just mess with the interval for a second here. So if you hear it, that's the 5th, and that's usable. Or is that an octave? Jeez. No, it's 5th. Okay. So I mean, I don't really see much of a use for that. Maybe for some sound effects to get some, you know, clashing. I don't know. But anyway, that's the intervals. All right, we're getting somewhere. All right. So, of course, our next option will probably be our filter. So we got to come out of bank hold, go to 3, hit bank, and number 1. And I apologize, I said 32. I was wrong. It's actually 64. So you get about half a resolution that you would normally see on most synthesizers. So not as bad, but not as good as you would find in modern stuff. So here, let's sweep it. That is a very nice filter. I actually really love this filter. I wish I had more control over it because I think it sounds fantastic. But, you know, it is what it is. But I will say, the stepping's actually not bad. It's there. And I believe that's, you know, me just manually controlling it. I'm pretty confident. Let me see. I'm going to go ahead and take it all the way down. And we're going to go over here to the filter envelope generator. So we are now in bank 4. And I'm going to go ahead and bring this filter. I'm going to start it with it open and bring it down so we can hear it. So we're going to, oh, I didn't mention this. The envelopes have, oh man, I wish everybody did this. And it's crazy. This is a almost 40-year-old synthesizer. No, it's a 41-year-old synthesizer, and it has this, and it has what they call slope and a breakpoint. This is just an additional sort of 2, really kind of 1 extra stage of an envelope, and it makes a big difference. Honestly, give me as much as you can in envelopes. I want one that I can make go wacky and crazy. It's not quite perfect for it, but it's way better than I'm finding on my other synthesizers when it comes to making piano or keyboard patches. There's a big part of the envelope that you need to create something that's, you know, as close as you can get to realistic. If you think about it, you strike a piano key, you get that initial bing right on the key, and then you get that nice slow sustain. But you need that first one to kind of immediately come up, instantaneously hitting that string, and then it needs to come back down pretty fast because it's almost like it's a percussive. I mean, technically, piano's a percussive instrument. You're banging on something, so that initial strike, you're getting a lot of frequency information real quick, but it immediately fades. Not immediately, but very quickly. And then you're left with the resonance and the stuff that's happening slowly and dissipating. So if you have an envelope that can give you something where you can burst real quick and then fade slowly, you get much closer to a piano sound. You're not going to, on a traditional ADSR, you get stuck. You know, you're not going to be able to get a full range. I mean, at least I have not been able to. I've gotten close using envelopes, maybe even doubling up some some envelope. I'm sorry, using LFOs, but also doubling up envelopes, maybe having them operate two different oscillators. There's ways around it, but again, this thing has a great filter. I mean, God, a great envelope for both the amplifier and the filter. So cheers to Korg on that. Why they don't do that still? Also on Korg stuff, they do sometimes, but not all the time. I'm like, come on, man. I don't know. Maybe it costs a lot of CPU. I'm not a builder. So, all right, let's get this thing going. So we have attack, decay, breakpoint, slope, sustain, release, and then the velocity sensitivity. I do wish they did a diagram on here, because even in my head, it can be kind of hard to understand how this envelope works. But attack and decay, just like normal. Think of breakpoint as your traditional sustain, because that's where you're going to set your sustain if you want it to be more like a traditional ADSR, attack, decay, sustain, release envelope. But once you hit breakpoint, if your slope is nothing, if it's 0, you will stay at that. I believe. I might be saying this wrong, but the concept's still there. If it is, you just got to flip it. But the idea is that if you don't have any slope, or if maybe you have full slope, I can't remember, it'll keep the breakpoint there, and it'll go right to the next sustain level, and it'll just sustain out. So basically, you kind of nullify the breaking point and the slope in the whole process, and you're essentially going right to the sustain, and then, of course, the release. Now, if you want something different, like I mentioned before, you can have the breakpoint set a little bit higher than the sustain, for example, and then your slope is kind of like a little decay to that sustain. So it's like decay number 2, which is honestly how I've seen most synthesizers who offer that mention that, at least from my experience. It's been like second decay or slope decay or something like that. So point being, attack coming up, decay coming down to whatever point you set, to the break point. So let's say you come down halfway, then you have a slope, but your sustain's maybe 10% of the way down. Say you set your slope real slow, it's going to take a long time to get to that sustain, and then it'll hold as long as you are holding the key, and then release. So for example, let's go ahead and use that. So I am going to come back to actually 35 because I forgot to do the intensity. Whoops, come back here. The envelope intensity. So let's go, what do we got here? So this is a a quarter resolution, only 32 steps. So I'm going to go halfway at 15. Yeah. Being that we start in 0, 31, so 15 is halfway, technically. All right, so let's hear what we got here. Nothing, because if you listen real close, it's kind of, that means we do actually have some envelope coming in here. It's just the decay is instantaneously dropping and everything else is at 0. So you're just getting basically the gate sound. So we need to extend back into bank 4. Nope, I didn't do that right. And now we're at the decay stage of the envelope. I'm going to crank that open. Now we're getting something. Okay, I'm actually going to come back to 35, which was my envelope intensity. I'm just going to crank it all the way open because I want to hear the full. There it is. Now already. Playing's a little off because I'm playing a little bit high. This table's higher than my chair. I need to get a taller chair. But we're getting something already just by that, and I really do love the way the envelope sounds. It's very, I guess the word for it I would reach for would be like kind of creamy. I know that's a weird word. I don't really like to use it. But it does. It really makes things so smooth, and it's like thick and smooth. Oh, lovely. All right. So let's go ahead and sustain this out. Actually, I'm going to go back just because I want to make sure we've got this. That's not what I meant to do. Let's go to the cutoff. 31. Yep. Okay, we're at full sustain. So we can go back here into bank 4 and mess with this so that I can demonstrate the breakpoint and slope. Okay, so right now we have a fairly quick decay. Oops, 2. Not that quick. Fairly slow, I should have said. Here's a full length decay. That's nice. Sounds, but again, we're going to just demonstrate this guy here. So 43, that's going to be our breakpoints. I'm going to set that at about 15. I'm going to come back there to the decay and bring that down just a little bit. Okay, breakpoint 44. 44, I'm going to say, you know, okay, I'm starting to remember now. I think I have to match the breakpoint and the slope together to make them not actually really affect each other. You know, like this, it's going to basically go to the breakpoint and then to the sustain as long as that's matched too. Let me see if I can remember. All right, we'll go 15, the breakpoints, and we will go 15 on the slope. And then we'll also go 15 on sustain. So this should just be as if the breakpoint and the slope are doing nothing yet. I want to set that up first. Yep. Here our filter's closing, and then it's just hanging. This is what I would normally do to get a decent electronic piano patch, because then I would leverage the envelope for the amplifier to do the final kind of fade down. As if you were playing and holding it and the keys naturally decay. So it's pretty good already. Okay, let me see if I can pull this off. So we're going to come back to the decay, and I'm going to shorten it because I want a big boop, you know. Yep. It's not going to be my best work, but we're gonna get there with an idea. So here's something. Come to the break points. Yeah, here. Setting the break point higher there. I want it low. And I want that slope to be very long. But I want the sustain to be 0. I want the release to also be high because I want it to fade out if I just play it once. It's not. Did I not just set the release? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I need to do that for the envelope as well, or for the amplifier. So before I do anything else, I'm going to go over here, and we are just going to set the amplifier envelope to also release. A little bit more decay. Whoops. Go 27. I'm going to go ahead and match the break and the slope to that. 54. I should have been in bank mode. I said 27. Okay, I can already tell I need to change that. Decay to be a little bit longer. Gotta mess with that more, so that's my delay or my release. 46. Let's release it, say 30. And back to 5/6. We'll crank that up to 30 as well. Maybe too much. We'll go back to 25. Nope, still too much. 22. It's very subtle, but there is that element of like it's coming in quick. Let's go and see if I can make it a little bit more apparent. But see, I'm gonna have to adjust this more. I'm getting a different experience when I hold it down. This is when I let it go, and that's because my release stage is naturally decaying, but if I hold it, it's quickly jumping down. It's basically the release stage is happening before it hits the full decay stage finish. So decay, we are keeping it at 8. Sorry, I said decay, and I meant to say before the breakpoint slope finishes. We're going to keep this a little higher. Bring the slope is all the way up, so I'm going to bring that down a little bit. Sustain, I'm going to keep it a little higher. That's interesting. And that's something I forgot. So here's another tip too. If the breakpoint is lower than the sustain, you can hear it's actually going to basically go down and come back up. Just a little bit here. I'll increase that more. Which in its own way can be really fun, but that's not what I want. So I'm going to go 20. Let's hear the sustain. Yeah, 19. And back to the breakpoints. Let's say 21. Sounds pretty good. We're just gonna make a keys patch because I'm already like halfway there. Next we're gonna mess with something I'm so glad they have on this. Some of my older synthesizers that I've come across in my life did not have velocity sensitivity. They sometimes had ways to kind of do it in a back end way through the modulation and stuff like that, but this one has it built in. So, and it has it for both the amp and the filter, which is fantastic. So we're going to start with the amplifier first. So that is in bank 5 at the very bottom, 57. I am going to go too much, and so here's another catch. You can see it's got max 7 to 0. So you have 8, which is a fourth of a fourth. So we're talking a 16th of a resolution that you would normally find in a modern synthesizer. So not a lot. You're basically like a lot of velocity sensitivity, and you come down just 2 clicks. You're usually about where I tend to be. I think I'm actually going to go to 6. When I'm playing with other people, or I'm, if I'm trying to basically be heard, in especially a live setting, I'm probably going to play with less velocity sensitivity because it can be hard to hear precisely how you're playing in those live situations. So, play with it as you will, but obviously velocity sensitivity is a great tool, but you don't necessarily need it all the time. Since it's just me playing and I can hear myself very clearly, I'm happy with the higher level because I can really play some softer notes and some bigger notes. I can just get lost in a live band situation. All right, back to the filter. We are at 47. Oops. And let's see where we get with this. I'm going to do the same thing to 6. So you can hear that's way too much. Let's back it off. Or we might have to adjust down the road here, the filter. So yeah, we're gonna have to adjust because I don't want the filter to be that low. So if I'm coming here 4, I'm gonna come to 31 on the filter, and I'm gonna go ahead and increase this. So now you can hear I'm starting to get a nice sound just by playing lightly. Still not right. I feel like I'm going to come up a little bit more on the filter and can actually bring the velocity sensitivity down a little bit. Should be decaying. Oh, I'm not decaying because I forgot to adjust the sensitivity. I'm sorry, the sustain on the amplifier. So maybe a long. That doesn't make any sense. Maybe my breakpoint is still set too high. Yep. Slope we can kill too. There we go. Okay. I really like that. I think that sounds like a nice plucky electric piano. We have too much filter on there though, so I'm going to bring this up even more. Let's say 13. That's a pretty great patch already. I'm going to go ahead and save this. Ooh, but I'm glad I didn't save it over 88 because I don't want that to overwrite my initialize patch. So let's hear what 85 sounds like. Cool. 88. Good. I meant to do that earlier. That's always a good thing to do if you do have a manual initialize patch and you had to make it in this instance. If you did what I did, make sure you save it to the new patch that you want to edit, because if you're not paying attention, you'll just go ahead and save the initialized patch, or override it, I should say, and then you're back to square one. So, all right, we want to add a little bit, a tiny bit of modulation, because I'm actually pretty happy with the way this sounds, but I wouldn't mind a little bit of, you know, a little bit of kind of natural, phasey, maybe vibrato, I guess, but we're probably going to direct it towards the filter to start off with. I could potentially do it towards the oscillators, and you get that kind of lo-fi warble if you're looking for that. That's kind of nice. All right, let's try the oscillator. I think that's the way to go. Let's try it. Okay, let's see. We'll start with the waveform 61. I'm going to go ahead and bank hold 61. Oh no. Okay, whew, I saved it. Because you can see after I saved it, it turned into a program setting. So when I was pushing buttons over here, you know, not, I guess, a huge deal because I would have to have saved it before that happened. But, oops. Should mention, yeah, bank hold also works obviously for the banks and the programs. I generally think of it for parameters though. So, parameter, now we can go to 6, and we're going to start with the waveform, and we can kind of see here we have a triangle, a sawtooth, a reverse sawtooth, and a square. So I'm going to stick with the triangle because I want something that's just going to kind of maneuver up and down relatively equally. And I'm going to come over and select frequency. So, wait, did I have that right? Okay. Frequency, let's hear. Oh, we don't have it set anywhere, so we won't be able to hear anything. So why don't we start with the filter so we can actually hear it. I'm just going to go ahead and crank it. Frequency. This is going to be a very slow. So, pretty basic of LFO here. I'm going to show you the delay. So watch. No delay. Here's with delay. Oh, it just slams right in there. Yeah, you know, I can't think of a use off the top of my head for that unless I'm making sound effects, you know, like weird sounds or trying to make some percussive or drum sounds, which I have tried on this guy, and it's honestly not that easy for me. I'm sure better synthesists can pull it off. I have a hard time making something I really like. But anyway, so I don't use the delay for the LFO virtually at all. Like I can't. I probably have tried to use it somewhere and maybe been happy with it, but honestly, it's not something I'm ever thinking about. So let's get that way down. All right, now we'll do our 65. We're going to bring that way down so we have just a subtle amount of LFO affecting the filter cutoff. Still in this? Yes. We're going to bring the frequency up a little bit. Maybe a little bit more. And bring the amount down. So let's start 4. Even less. I'm going to go down to 2. That's not bad. Let's put a little bit on the oscillators just to see if we get any sort of decent lo-fi-ish sound. Let's go ahead and crank it. Yeah, that sounds horrible. Let's back it down until we can actually use it. That's, you know. That's not too bad. Oh man, I totally thought for a second I had a noise waveform on here, but I guess I do not. That's a bit of a bummer. I thought I did. Why did I think I did? I'm not seeing it anywhere. Cutoff resonance would be in the oscillator section, but I got these. That's all there. Oh, noise! Haha! There you go. I thought because I was right. I have a hard time reading these things sometimes too, but boom, there it is. It was under oscillator 2, but it's got its own separate heading. So we'll add just a hair. I hear what it sounds like a lot. Getting a huge snap on that. Expected, because that's how I set the envelopes up. I wonder if I can maybe go back to the filter and bring the attack, like slow it down just a little bit. See if I can maybe. That's nice. I kind of want to experiment a little bit more with a little higher bit of noise just to see. Nope, I like it right where it was before. Not bad. Not bad at all. Okay, let's come over here and now we're going to mess with this very interesting, in my opinion, lovely old delay. It has got some interesting sounds. Hold on one second there, sorry. had a little noise from the other room. Just wanted to close the door there. Okay. So I'm actually now just listening back, deciding I'm going to bring the attack all the way back for the filter and actually just do it for the amp. I didn't like the kind of the filter can add like this little bit of, I don't know, kind of wonkiness. Like, can't think of the word, but much better. I think we need to open that cutoff just a hair more. That's better. We might actually even have to go a little bit more once we engage the delay, because we might get some muddiness, you know, from all that kind of low end only. All right. Okay, we're in bank 7. We are looking at, we have time, we have factor. I'll talk about that in a second. Feedback, mod frequency, mod intensity, effect level. Okay, so first of all, time. We all know what that is with a delay. You're setting how long you're going to have between each delay. So, for example, if it's like 500 milliseconds, that's a decent amount of time. It's going to be like a dot, dot, dot. Lower, obviously, quicker. What I did like, at first I was like, my very first glance at that, I was like, oh, 0 to 7, damn, that's not a lot of, probably going to be a very short delay, which it is a fairly short delay. Overall, it's not giving us 5 seconds. It's not a looper. But the factor then splits it up. So just as an example, let's say setting 2, I'm totally pulling this out of my rear end here, but let's say setting 2 is 500 milliseconds, and we do a factor of 0.5. We just increase that to a 1 second. You're basically halving the amount of time that it takes, or I should say doubling, technically. So you have a 0.5 to 1. So you have a pretty small variance of change there, but it does, as you know, it's kind of exponential, if you will. As you increase that time, if you reduce the factor, then you are doubling it all the way down. So you get a fair amount. We'll play with it. Feedback is how long it actually keeps going. So 0 feedback, you're going to get 1 pop of delay all the way. It's going to keep going. I mean, potentially for a very long time. It's not an analog. I mean, it's not a, it is digital. I don't think it goes on forever. Mod frequency and mod intensity control how much of, let's see. You know, that's a good question, because now I'm thinking about it. This does go to the delay. So it looks like we can actually have the delay as a destination for the LFO. I could be incorrect here, but it does seem, no, because you have mod intensity, which would be the same as sending to delay. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Delay is, okay, delay is what I showed earlier, where it was delaying the actual LFO happening. Sorry. Here is the same idea. You're getting the waveform from the MG, as they call it. I think it's called the mod generator, but we will call it an LFO like everybody else does. And then you could use these two to actually adjust. So you can control the frequency separately, and you can control the intensity. I could be wrong. This could be a separate LFO. So let's try it out. Because, I mean, if you're controlling the frequency separately, it's got to be a different LFO. So let's mess with it. Mod intensity, obviously, how much is going in, or how much the LFO is affecting the filter. And then, of course, effect level, which is the overall amount you hear of the delay. So let's go and start backwards, or all the way down at the bottom, and mess with the effect level. 76. We'll go about halfway. Let's see, 15. So we'll do 8, a little more than half. And we're going to come back to time. We're going to crank it to 5. And I'm going to see what the factor's set to. Hopefully it is at, nope, it's at 0. So we want it all the way to 15 to 1. So we'll see what that's going to do. But that's giving us supposedly a normal factor. And the feedback, we're going to do about halfway. So 0 to 15, we'll do 9 on that. All right, let's see what we got. It's hard because this has a lot of things going on. It's not like I pluck it once and it goes away. It's kind of hard to tell exactly what this is doing, but I'm going to crank the effect level. There you go. You can hear what I mean too about it sounds a bit reverbish. You get that from a delay. But when you don't have reverb, just delay, you can really try to pull more of that reverb out of there. Let's hear what we get when we increase, or I should say decrease, the factor. I'm going to bring it down to 0.5. Not much of a difference. What am I doing wrong? Maybe the feedback, I could increase that more. Maybe I'm wrong about the factor. Maybe it's really the other way around, where increasing it makes the delay go longer. Honestly, I'm having a hard time telling what all this stuff is doing right now. Well, we're just going to play by ear because I don't have the manual in front of me and it's hard to determine exactly how this is reacting, because what I thought would happen is I would set a time and then the factor would then change, you know, in a fractional way how that time is being used, but that doesn't sound like what's happening right here. So frequency factor. It's got to be the opposite, because it certainly sounds like... Yeah, when the factor is larger, it plays longer. So it's not what I was thinking. It's, I guess, the other way around. We're going to come back and turn the effect level down, because that's just too hot. We got 15, yeah. I'm digging it. I think I'm gonna move on from that one. It's usable. Spice it up a little bit more. You know what I am going to do before I move on is I'm going to increase that. Did I just change the parameter again? 85, parameter 31, 31. I'm going to bring this up a little bit more. I'm actually going to do slightly different. I'm going to bring this down again. A little higher than that. And I'm going to increase the decay because I want it to get muted at the end, but I want it to be, oh, sorry, 42. I want it to be a bit brighter in the beginning. write 85, done. We're going to come on to back to 88s. We're going to write this, like I should have done last time, to 86. Now we can leave 88 alone and mess around with 86 and not worry about destroying my initialize patch. Okay. Well, if anybody would like to chime in with some ideas, please feel free. If not, I will move along and I will try to create something else. What am I going to do this time? I'm going to do the pad. I did not do the pad last time. So with a pad, the first thing you're going to want to do is, well, I should say one of the first things you want to do is adjust your attack envelope, because that's how you're going to get that slow increase and potentially the long decrease. So let's go ahead and set that up first. We do have no sound. I'm sorry, we do have standard sounds. We have the sawtooth wave form. Let's go and mess with this envelope for the amp. So if we increase this, let's just go ahead and crank it all the way. We'll get to hear how long it actually takes for this attack stage of our envelope to occur. That's a nice amount of time. It actually might still have a little bit more to go, but that's well beyond what we need. I'm going to go maybe to 25. I will say it does not seem all that linear. It almost seems like it jumps a gap in the beginning. Maybe just because of the resolution here, we don't have a whole lot. It's like... That's a little better. Okay. So another thing I like to do pretty standard is to increase the release. This way we have nice let down instead of immediately being pulled out. I'm probably not going to get it here because I still haven't messed with the middle. But let's hear. Good, I did. Something I like to do with pads, personal preference, but I do recommend it, especially when you're adding multiple layers of sounds in a song, is I like to increase the pads like I was doing, like all pads are going to do, a slow attack. And then when I get to that top part, I'm actually going to use a short, not overly fast, but reasonably quick decay, and just bring it down to a little bit lower than the sustain. So that way you're not just getting that increase of sound and then it's just staying there. Because once it gets up there, and if it's occupying a lot of space, anything else you have playing is going to be fighting its whatever it can to try to get into that sound, because it's got this big wall of pad just sitting there. If you come up and do that and then kind of back it down, it doesn't seem like it's lost a lot of energy to the listener or the mixer. But it does take just enough energy away for all those other instruments to come in and kind of do their thing too. So a big thing I like to do, like I just mentioned, is come over here to the decay. I'm going to increase it slightly so that we get a quick decay. I'm going to say 8 for now. The breakpoint and the slope and the sustain. The breakpoint I'm going to bring up to... Remember, treat the breakpoint essentially as your first sustain. It's your first sustain if you intend to use it in this way. If you're going to do more complicated things, whatever. But it basically sets that point of where the decay stage is going to end. So I'm going to go with, let's see, 31 we're all the way up to. So I'm going to go 21, because actually I think, what was I, 25? And then decay was that. Okay, so 21 is where my breakpoint is. So that's less than the 25. I shouldn't say it that way. That's confusing. The attack stage is going to hit full openness because we haven't messed with the filter yet. So it's going to basically bring the volume all the way to the max. And now, because I have it set to 21 here, we're going to come down from, well, at the 31 it would stay. 21 is going to be probably too much. So we're going to bring it down just a couple of slots. Let's say 5, so 26. So basically we're going up, let's in this realm of much smaller numbers. Let's say 0 to 31 for the full volume of the attack stage, and then it's just going to quickly come down to about 26. So we should hear just a little bit of loss of energy. It's going to be more noticeable to us right now because it's not in a mix, but it still is kind of a nice thing to happen anyways. Okay, so slope. We don't need to mess with the slope. We're going to go to the sustain though, and we're going to make that, I forgot already what my breakpoint was. We're going to match the sustain, because if we do not, that it actually will sound really bad because I put the slope at 0. It's going to hit that breakpoint, and then it's going to jump up to what the sustain is because it's at a different level. If I had some slope in there, it would slowly increase to that sustain level, but we don't want that either. We might make a decrease, actually. That might be a nice thing to do right now, in the future here in a second, but for now we're just matching the breakpoint and the sustain, so that basically breakpoint, slope, and sustain are all acting just like a sustain. It happened a little bit too fast on the decay stage. So I'm going to do two things here. I'm going to actually decrease the attack so it happens a little bit quicker, and then I'm going to decrease the decay stage by half, so it's only going to jump down a little bit. You might not even really hear it that much this time, but let's listen. I'm going to go a step further now. Now that we demonstrated that, I am actually going to use the slope and the sustain a little differently here. So the breakpoint should be at 26. So I'm going to make my slope. I want a nice slow slope. We got 0 to 31. So I'm going to go about 21. So this should be a slow. We're telling it how long it should take to go from the breakpoint setting to the sustain setting. And this should be a little bit on the slow side. We're going to take the sustain down to about 16. So we're going from a 26 breakpoint to a 16 sustain with a nice kind of slow-ish slope. So it should sound like it's going to go up and build, and then it's going to come down to a nice little sustain. You know what I did? I just realized I did the decay backwards. I actually meant to go up to 16. I made it happen faster. So here we go. Still too much. So I need more decay. Let's try 22. I'm not liking that. My decay is at 22. Oh, maybe because I have to have the breakpoint slow or lower. Let's do that at 22. And then we'll have the slope bring us down 54. This is not, so this is time, and 55. Okay, I'm gonna bring that down to 14. Let's see what we got now. Still right. It's still not quite right. 52, 22. I'm happy with that. I guess we got to bring that breakpoint down. Oh, did I leave those the same? Yeah, I guess I did. Okay. Let's go 16 on this, on the breakpoint. And we'll go even, what do we go to on the sustain? 14. Let's go 10. Okay, so here we got. Slope must not be long enough. Crank the slope up. Just added quite a bit to it. So here we go. Better. I'm actually going to take that decay up even more too. I have 25. I'm going to match it. So the decay and the attack stage are at the same linear pattern. There we go. got to be extra careful if you want those nice fluid sounding pads, because it's easy to basically walk into your next voice, meaning you're going to steal it from the old sound. So if I have all these sounds going right here, got me a bit away. I'll do it again with all of them this time. Stole them all, so you lose all that beautiful decay. I tend to stick to 3 voices. Always, and sometimes I'll add that extra note in there just because that gives me a little bit of wiggle room. If I'm moving a little quicker, I'll have 3 the first chord, 3 the second chord, and I can shift over, and hopefully the first chord will be almost completely finished before I start playing the third chord, so you get a little bit of wiggle room. So yeah, I would say no more than 3 notes at a time if you're playing a lot. Sorry, no more than 4 notes at a time. That's not bad sounding, and this is just one waveform, one single waveform, and no filter. We are just dealing with the envelope of the amplifier, so we're off to a pretty good start for a pad, I think. Let's see what else we can do. I might go ahead and change the sawtooth waveform here. I know already some of the waveforms I was kind of dissing in the beginning. I might not be as harsh on them in a pad because I love odd sounding waveforms in pads. You know, it's that transient on a quick attack that can really take away even the nicest oscillator for me sometimes. Like this might be a nice supporting oscillator. I don't want it as my primary. Nope. Too thin. Obviously very organ. Maybe 8 in the pocket. Let's think about that. Because that is lovely. All right, let's come over to our second waveform and bring in this guy. So I'm going to go ahead and type 2-3 to get to the level. We're going to all the way just so we can hear it. 22. We are going to come and decide what waveform. I think it was 4 that I was thinking was a decent standalone. Let's hear. But let's go ahead and go a little farther, see if we find something else. 0-2, the same waves. I don't like how it sounds right there, but I want to see if I can bring this octave up. I did. So let's, okay, well, no. Nope, I liked it. I'm not going to just go for it because I wanted to do, oh, I guess I did do 9. Dang, okay. Still sounds great. Okay, so 2 9s, double 9s. Let's come over to the octave 2. I'm going to bank hold 2, so we're just sitting in this guy. Waveform is good. Octave is set already. We're going to bring down the level just a bit. Let's try 1/3 of the way down. Let's detune it a little bit. We're gonna go super wonky first. Demonstrate here. I like that. I think that sounds a bit super saw-ish, maybe because of the detune. But let's see what else we can do. Just for fun, we'll do the interval. And it actually might work okay on this one, but I don't really need to use it. So we have not engaged any filter yet, which is pretty cool. Let's hear what we have again one more time. I just want to hear it. Very lovely, very full. I actually think maybe we don't use the filter rate this second. Let's move over to the digital delay and see if we can get some nice space involved. Then I think I'll come back afterwards, maybe apply a little bit of filter, and then we can mess with the modulation on that filter and just kind of get a nice little, hopefully kind of ambient-esque finish to this pad. Okay, we're on bank 7, and we are starting with the time. We're going to make it a nice slow one. So now I realize that 7 means it's going to happen quicker, and as the lower setting, the longer it takes. I swear it's always a one or the other way with digital or delays in general. Some people say crank it for longer. Some people say crank it for shorter. So we're going to stick with this for now. I'm just going to go ahead and set the factor to 1. That's still a bit confusing to me. Let's try the feedback at about halfway. We'll go 9, a little bit higher. I'm going to skip the mod frequency intensity for now, but we are definitely going to use that here in a moment. 76 is our effect level. I'm going to crank it just so we get a real nice picture of what our reverb, or I'm sorry, our delay is going to sound like. It's not bad, but I'm going to bring it down. I want it to be a little more subtle. Shabby. So let's mess with this mod frequency and intensity and see what we get out of here. I'm going to go ahead and just boost all the way the intensity. So we're going to get something awful sounding, hopefully. And we'll do the frequency all the way up too. It's kind of cool for a sound effect. Almost sounds like a group of bees or something. Colony of bees? Frequency. Let's bring the intensity down just a little. Oh, let's go all the way. It's almost hard to hear really what's happening. It just sounds like a really old, crummy digital reverb. I'm not sure. I'm going to go ahead and save this now. Right, 86. And I'm not sure we need the filter, but let's go ahead and plunk around a little bit, see what we get. Did I change the parameter again? Okay. Program 86, parameter 31. There we go. There's just something about a nice, I'm going to use that term again, nice creamy filter over a pad. It just invokes that just beautiful 80s like Oberheim, or you know, even sequential circuits. Everybody had their own little flavor on it, but it just was so, it was such a thing in the 80s and maybe even some of the 90s. I love it. I love it. It's like a warm blanket. Just for fun, oops, let's put some resonance. We didn't mess with the resonance yet. Like most standard filters, you can hear how much you lose of that low end. Just goes away. It is self-oscillating. So we can probably do some cool filter pinging, you know, to actually get some a more realistic side wave. That's where it's hard. It's hard because I want a little resonance in there, but that low end, maybe just a hair. Oh, God, that's lovely. Okay. Let's do a little modulation on the cutoff, just so we get a little bit of, just kind of ebb and flow on that. So we're going to come over to bank 6. Oops, 6 bank. We're going to choose our waveform, which I'm going to keep at the triangle. Honestly, I almost always use a triangle. I like subtle, slow stuff going on with my LFOs, so I don't usually use a harsh or sharp LFO waveform like a sawtooth or a square. And unfortunately, that's all you get besides a triangle. I wish you got the saw. I wish you got something else, maybe like sample and hold would be nice, especially if it had glide. Anyway, let's see. For next, we're going to have the frequency, which I do want it to be low, and I believe the lower I go, the lower it goes. I just messed with it a minute ago, but I can't remember. We're going to go, the delay, unless I'm being really, really subtle, like very little LFO modulating something, I almost always avoid that delay because, as I shown you earlier, it basically pops right in. All right. Oscillator. Nope. Well, no, we're going to do a little bit of oscillator. I want a little bit of that lo-fi. I'm going to go to 3 to start off with. And then we're going to go to our filter, and I'm going to go 6. All right, let's see what we got. Okay, we need to back down that frequency way a lot. That is nice, but I think we have a little bit too much on the VCF, on the filter cutoff. We'll do 3. What did I do on that? I think I did 3 on the oscillators as well. Yeah, see what we got. Oops, sorry. Filter just a hair. Too much. mention this yet. There's two more things. Well, there's a couple more parameters in the filter section. I'm not going to mess with these two too much. We already did the EG intensity, and this is basically how much of the VCF envelope generator we are sending to the VCF filter envelope to filter. But the one that I do want to mess with is keyboard tracking. So the concept here in general is if you looked at the middle of the keyboard and you played to the left or you played to the right, the amount of filter being applied, or the amount of frequency cutoff, I should say, being applied changes. Traditionally, you're kind of going for a brighter sound as you increase to the right, and muter, darker sound to the left, mimicking what you're going to find in a realistic instrument. For example, a piano, or a guitar for that matter, the lower strings you play, they vibrate at a lower frequency, so they don't get that high frequency content, and they're a little bit darker. Whereas if you play the same, we'll say the same note, obviously you'd be octaves higher, with the same amount of maybe pluck on a keyboard string, guitar string, you're going to get brighter sound regardless, because the string's smaller, it's going to vibrate faster. So that's what it kind of is trying to mimic in a way. So if I go to 33 and we're going to increase, it says a quarter. I'm going to go a half. Let's hear what half sounds like. So theoretically, this should be in the middle. Well, maybe the way we have to split it could be the G. But let's hear this G here versus this G here. And then versus this G. You can hear it much darker. That's a pretty good pad. What I would do with this is I would slap on a beautiful reverb, maybe out of the Eventide H90, and man, I think you'd be soaring. So let's save this guy. Right, 86. Okay, it is only 9:30. I usually been going to about 10 lately, but I kind of got some things going on, so I think I'm gonna take a few more sips of this beer. We're gonna program one last patch. Right, 287. And we'll call it a night. So, my biggest challenge, if you've listened to any of my streams before, is always finding a lead sound that I like. Usually what I do is I reach out to one of my favorite synthesizers for leads, because I find even a simple lead on that thing sounds amazing. That's usually going to be my Moog Slim. I feel like it's just every lead I make on that thing, whether it be an atrocious, heavy, grindy, acidy kind of lead to a beautiful, soft sine wave, floaty, to even like, your quintessential hip hop, kind of borderline whiny kind of synth sound. It's everything just out of that thing sounds cool as hell. This one, as well as other polysynths I have, it can be a struggle. For me, I feel like I have a hard time. So what better way to get over that than to practice making leads? So let's go ahead and try that. So let's real quick see if maybe we can find a waveform. Whoops, I did it again, didn't I? Parameter, 1, 2. Oops, what am I doing? Parameter, 1, 1. Ah, there we go. Not enough high frequency. Whoa. Well, that's really weird. I don't know what I was doing before, but that sounds like a perfect sine wave. Before, it did not sound like that. I must have had something else going on when I was playing through those waveforms, because that sounds like a great sine wave. Okay. Lead sine wave? Sure, why not? I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going, so got something started there. I'm going to go ahead and bring an oscillator to right away. So 23 to bring in the level all the way, and I'm going to basically do the same waveform. So we have two sine waves. So you can hear we're just doubled up right now. We're just getting twice the volume, but I don't want that. I want to come over to the octave, bring it up to. Maybe just one. Nope, definitely two. Maybe three. Oh, we only get the 2 octaves. Oh, dare I reach for the unison? Maybe not yet. Sounds like a B3 or something in its very simplest. I'm going to go ahead and use the Poly 2. If you recall earlier, I was saying that this uses the same voice over and over. So basically one voice until you get to the next one. If I'm not mistaken, I think if you're just playing one note, you're just usually using that single first voice because it never plays to the second one. It only happens when you add more. So maybe that's the case. I think it is. I'll do better in the future. I'll actually have like the manual out and maybe try to read it before, because honestly, most of this to me is about making the sounds, and that's what I really am trying to do. But I wouldn't mind also people watching and getting some better information about the synthesizers, which I hope I'm doing, but I want to give really good information. So I'm going to start doing that. Okay, so let's go ahead and do some velocity sensitivity to start off with this, just a little bit. Feel like you got to have a little bit on a lead. Okay, a little better. All right. Ooh, let's try some detune. Let's see what we get out of that. I'm gonna keep a little bit in there, but it's not really adding much, and it's not doing much for me. Let's try the intervals. Let's try the intervals. I might like that, but I'm first going to bring down the volume. No, I took a hair down, but not that much. Okay, let's put a little noise in there. Let's see if we can tame some of the noise. Yeah, no. Afraid that if I put the unison on, it's going to get way too noisy. Ooh, just one is nice. Almost sounds like what you get with like an old noisy guitar setup. You know, you start jamming and you can hear that noise popping through. All right. Let's try a little bit of, well, let's just see what we can get out of a filter, because I want... want it to kind of be bright initially, and then just a hair and in a little bit of a muted state. Okay, so that's 41. I'm going to come to 35, and I'm going to increase the intensity, but only to about 19. So it's just giving that pop in the beginning because we haven't set the EG yet, the envelope generator. So I'm going to go over to 4 bank. We're going to start with 2 for our decay. Okay, I'm actually going to go to the amp envelope and bring up some of the attack so that we get a... Maybe not that much, but just take away some of that intense transient in the beginning. notes, go back to here, go back to the decay. We're going to decrease the decay. We should be able to ignore the break and the slope and just go right to the sustain. Wait, no. Why can I... My breakpoint is hold it. No. Oh, I'm in the filter. Dang it. I meant to go to 53 and 54. Well, 55 actually. Let's go 16. So now I have to go to the breakpoint and match that because you can hear it's just jumping from the decay to that sustain. So let's see what we got here. A little higher. You know what? I'm going to go higher to the breakpoint, and then we'll do a little bit of slope down to the sustain. Okay. Okay. 31. So we got this already. Let's see if we can get a little bit of resonance in here. Gotta eat so much of that bass. No. Maybe a little bit just to tame it. Okay, yeah, I'm not really super impressed with what I have so far yet, so we might change some more, including the waveforms, because I'm starting to think maybe I should just have a single side and then maybe something else a little bit noisier. But let's see what we get if we mess with this delay. So this might be a charming place to be when it meets the delay, because we might actually get to hear quite a bit of what the delay is doing. So let's delay time by halfway. And factor I'm going to leave alone for a second. Feedback we are going to increase. Oops. What happened? 7.3. Oh, I don't have the effect level up yet. That's kind of neat, but that's not what I'm looking for. So let's try the factor, I guess. Oops, no. We should actually get more feedback. Okay. Okay. Now let's go to the time again. We're going to bring it all the way down. Just to 1. I guess this is where the factor comes in. Let me just bank hold that. There we go. There we go. Okay, way too high on the effect level. Bring that down. Okay. And what else was I just thinking? Oh, I think I am going to go back and change this waveform. But actually, before I do, there was something else I wanted to try. What was it? It was level, delay, frequency. Oh, I want to get some glide going on. I know that's in here somewhere. Portamento 77. Okay. Let's see what we get here. get that second waveform in here. Change it up a little bit. Oh, already getting better sounds. Uh, 12 might be it, but let's hear. What we got else? What else we got? Doesn't sound much difference. Well, it is. Let's increase that portamento for a second. See what we get if we go a little higher. Cool. Missing something though. Maybe I need to slow the attack on that filter. Let's try that. I think I'm gonna bust down this interval to a normal again. So I think I'm going to go here and bring the octave down. Also going to take the decay, change that again. I think I did it in the... No. Did I do it in the filter? I did. Slow the decay down. Just for fun, I'm going to switch out a poly, or 2 poly. Oh, that's awful. Yeah, that's not going to work. Back this portamento down. Almost sitar-ish in a way. Not really sure where I'm going to keep this attack. Take a little bit of the amp envelope and give it some release. Not too much, but enough so it's not so sharp. I'm going to do the same thing for the filter envelope. I tend to match those unless I'm going for a specific sound. The difference between unison 1 and 2. Okay, that's pretty easy to know now. It's just resetting the envelope. So 2, no reset. 1. Maybe that's why I never really used the unison too much on here, because I never played with unison 2. Cool. I mean, you know, it sounds like circus music. But it does something. I think honestly, again, H90 or some effect if I threw a little bit of distortion on that and a little bit of reverb. And I, you know, messed around here with the bend level. Let's see if I can do that real quick. Whereas my it does have aftertouch. That's right, but it is not poly aftertouch. I guess you consider it monophonic aftertouch, which is okay. It would work for this. So oscillator MG. So that's the amount of. Oh man, I don't. You know, I've owned this synth for years, and I don't even pay attention to some of these sections because I just don't feel like I'll ever use them. But obviously, that's going to come in handy on a mono patch. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go 81 and increase it. Let's go all the way. Oh, you really got to push. You really got to push down on that guy. Oh, man. I don't know if I'll use that ever. Let me see if maybe I have the setting too high. I think also the LFO I was using is very slow. So you're not hearing it that much. Okay, that's probably more the case. So let's try the VCF and see if maybe I can get a little bit more, oops, action out of this aftertouch. Still very hard. Oh man, you're gonna break my fingers. Yeah, no good. You know, old. I mean, maybe the aftertouch strip gets less responsive over time. I'm not sure, but it's not where I'm at. Okay. VCF, we're not gonna mess with that. What was I looking for? The bend. The bend. Here we go. Auto bend, mode, time, intensity. Auto bend. No. I don't want that. Is that that might be where I need to set this, and I'm still just a little confused about it because I'm not seeing anything anywhere else. No. Well, okay. Well, let's give it a shot. Let's try auto bend first. It's probably not what I want. Oh, I see. I was thinking it was the mount. 1, 2, both. Okay. This is engaging how much of the LFO is affecting that. That's interesting. This is just bend. I don't know what. Let's see. I'm going to go with oscillator 2 only on that. Oh man. It's because the oscillator, I'm sorry, the waveform that I'm, the frequency for the LFO I'm using, which is what this seems to be controlling, is so slow. It's really not doing anything helpful for me right now. So let's see. We'll keep it there for now, but let's see what the modes do differently. No, I'm not really hearing much there that I'm liking, but time. Man, this isn't doing anything that I was thinking it was going to do. Here, we try this. Oh, that's auto. Yeah, that's the auto bend. I don't like that. What? how do I, oh, there it is. 66 and 67, okay. But they're set to 0, so that doesn't make any sense. Well, let's go ahead and, I guess bend is this way. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Oscillator, VCF, bend. I can't believe I didn't see that. Okay. Let's do pitch. So we're going to go to 66 and increase it. So here, this should probably go, I'm assuming an octave. Too much. Let's go. Let's try minor third. So it's interesting. It really doesn't do anything. Like there's quite a bit of dead zone on the outside, and there's some in the inside too. It picks up. You can see. Picks up. I'm engaging now. Right there. So there's about this much where it does nothing, and then this side, that much where it does nothing. It's probably just old. I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe that was acceptable back in the day too. Let's just try 2. That's cool. That's usable. Okay. Yeah, these are the simple for the up and down here. Not a big deal, but. Okay. I mean, you know, I don't think it's my best work, but it's a decent lead, especially if you're going for some sort of weird, I don't know, Indian electronic music. Sure, why not? I'd listen to it. I'd give it a shot. It might be awesome. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway. Thank you. There is 0 people viewing now, so I guess I ran you off with that awful lead. But I still had a good time, so I hope if you had joined for some point of time that you did as well, and I hope maybe if you watch this at a future date, hope you enjoyed it. I really love this synthesizer. It is very simple, and you can make some very interesting 80s-esque sounds on here, and some of the sounds on here I'm super, super happy with. A few of these we made tonight I thought were pretty great. Some of them I was like, but that's the way with these guys, you know, it's all about experimentation and having fun. So thank you for watching. Please check me out next week. Later this week, I did skip last week because I got an OPXY. I love it. I've spent some time with it, but I've had it for a little while and I haven't had enough time to really dive into it. But I did this past couple weeks and I was able to write something I'm really, really happy with. But because I'm really, really into it, I really want to make sure it's nice. So keep an eye out for Friday. I should have that dropped. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. I did spend a lot of time on it. I think it's a very cool little box, and I'm really excited to spend more time and make more music with it. But anyways, the Korg DW8000, lovely synthesizer. If you are interested in any way, be prepared. It will go up for sale at some point in the near-ish future. For now, I'm going to keep enjoying it. So have a great week.